Well, let's get a sense of what's going on with how press around the world, social media, newspaper front pages are covering the Israel-Hamas war. It's in its 20th day today. Papers focusing particularly on the brutal impact of children. It's hitting many front pages today. Let's bring in Deeptika Laurent, our press reviewer, to take a look.
Well, this is from the front page of the Daily Express, a British daily, Gavin, which wonders where is the hope amidst the shared grief. The paper going with, heartbreaking pictures from both the Israeli and Palestinian sides. On the right there, that's the funeral of Israeli family, a woman and two daughters killed in the Hamas attack earlier this month. And on the left there, Palestinian children in Gaza, as you see there in a hospital. So the image is really dominating the dailies. The Lebanese French language paper L'Orient Le Jour also going with a similar theme. In its front page today, it talks about this Al Jazeera journalist. He's actually his name is Wael Al-Dadou. He's Al Jazeera's Gaza bureau chief. He was reporting on an Israeli strike yesterday when he learned that his own family, including his wife and children, some of his children had been killed in that very strike. And the paper quoting him as saying, are they targeting children in these strikes? So the anguish really coming in there. And in an article that really highlights the complexity of this conflict, the New York Times journalist talks to Israeli survivors of the Hamas attacks who oppose the Israeli strikes in Gaza, who fear that death and destruction there is being wreaked there in their names. The journalist explaining they are certainly a minority, but they demonstrate the, quote, human capacity for empathy and wisdom.
Now, one of the issues that will face Israeli soldiers will be the so-called Gaza Metro, the underground system, the spider's web, as some of the hostages have described it, coming out of there. Deepti, tell us, because the Wall Street Journal have a very interesting piece on how the Hamas fighters have been trained in Iran.
Well, this is an exclusive, according to the Wall Street Journal. It says that Hamas fighters trained in Iran before the October 7 attacks. They trained in September in Iran, around 500 militants from Hamas, but also its allied group, the Palestinian Islamic Jihad group. These fighters receiving specialized combat training in exercises led by officers from Iran's Al-Quds forces, that is the foreign arm of the of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Senior Palestinian officials and the head of the Al-Quds force were reportedly present during these military exercises. The Wall Street Journal quoting people familiar with intelligence from that Hamas attack.
Now, one thing I didn't know, that apparently a lot of people mix up Sweden and Switzerland, and so much so the press have picked up the fact Sweden has gone to the efforts to say we're not the same country, and they've released a video to make it clear.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see if I can bring this up for you. So apparently the two are mixed up because people say they sound the same, and even more worryingly, they say that the flags are similar, which they are not. According to Forbes, a study conducted by Visit Sweden, the government's tourism board, found that 85,000 Google searches last year in the U.S. Inquired about whether Sweden and Switzerland are the same. Now, Chris, who is our producer, said he obscenely objects to these accusations. Granted, 85,000 is not a lot, but still it is, 85,000 people who are confused about that. Anyhow, Visit Sweden released this tongue-in-cheek video this week to clear up the confusion by determining what topics Switzerland and Sweden can talk about. So it comes in around just here. I think it's there. Take a listen.
Our proposition is as follows. First of all, Switzerland gets to talk about banks, and Sweden gets to talk about sandbanks. Switzerland will focus on mountaintops, and Sweden will focus on rooftops. Switzerland gets to promote loud noises, such as yodeling. In return, Sweden gets silence and a lack of yodeling.
So, Gavin, you get the
LSD
idea. It
goes to
really does make
Switzerland.
Sweden look very good. Currently, the Sweden-Switzerland confusion is not limited to laymen. In 2018, the New York Stock Exchange flew Switzerland's flag mistakenly to celebrate the listing of the Swedish company Spotify, and US President Joe Biden also mistakenly mentioned Switzerland when talking about Sweden this year, I believe it was.
Wow. Well, sort of Eurovision style
Confusion.
explaining there as well. Yeah, so that was Swedenland. Deeptika Laron, our press reviewer. Thank you. Stay